Good afternoon and welcome down to WDiMT MuleTown. As always, this is your captain speaking. Got a lot of stuff to cover, so we'll get into some of that in just a minute. Currently, it is 44 degrees in Sunnyside with a brisk wind of about 5 miles an hour out of the south-southwest. High for today should be, I think it said 45 and low of 32. So going to be chilly tonight. We're going to get into some of those cold weather precautions that you'll need to be taking here in just a minute. So everything else pretty straight down the line. Pressure is 29.66 and no measurable rainfall for today. So we'll hop right into everything else. As you see here from our Storm Tracker Doppler radar, we don't have much of anything around the mid-state right now. Let me turn off these wind warnings because that's not for us. So again, as you see, Columbia-Montgomery County area pretty quiet today. So I know everybody has been talking about the snow, and that's on a lot of people's minds for sure, and completely understandably. But we do actually have a possible threat of some strong storms Friday, so we will cover that as well. And then obviously the big event Sunday night, probably into early Monday morning, and Tuesday we may see some fairly significant winter precip, significant for our area anyway. So, yep, today across the mid-state. Mostly cloudy, some places a little bit less, partly cloudy, 46 for the high in Columbia, 45 Waynesboro, 43 Tullahoma, and the Nashville around 46 degrees. Tonight, again, low of about 33, 32, just depending on where you're at in MuleTown area, and that's pretty much the same story for everybody. Until you get over to the plateau, and then we do have some freezing temps out there. So tomorrow actually looks to be pretty nice, high of around 56 and sunny. Again, that's about the same for most of the mid-state area. Friday, however, though, we are going to be looking at some more wind. So you can see the scale up there at the top of the graphic. This is an NWS graphic. Wind gusts of 35, 45 miles an hour are likely, and could be some even more than that. So definitely go ahead and secure all of your outdoor objects and small children. All right, and then again, we had this posted on the page earlier, but definitely want to go over this. It is going to be bitterly, bitterly cold. So again, the graphic here on the left shows a chance of a high temperature being less than 32 degrees, 100%, no doubt about it. So just depending on the wind mixing in with all of this, we very well could see some sub-zero temperatures and in the single digits, very, very possibly. So again, make sure you're taking care of your pipes and things like that. If you have any outdoor like faucets and stuff, definitely go and grab a cover for those. They're like usually less than $10 from Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Home Depot, wherever, Walmart. So definitely take a look into that. Not gonna talk just too much about the models. We are going to show you some things again because it's just too far out, and we are not alarmists here. We want to keep you informed and entertained, but we're not going to be those guys that don't know how to read models and show you the scariest thing they can find. So I've seen a couple of those that aren't actually measuring what snowfall will be on the ground, just the total amount of precipitation over a given week, not the day. And some of those folks, not naming anybody, are sharing graphics from models saying, like 9 or 10 inches, and that's not going to be the case. So, well, I'll say more than likely. I've seen, the Weather Service call for an inch of snow or just a dusting and have the storm system stall out on us, and it end up being 4 or 5 inches. So when you hear me later say, between 0 and 4 inches or 0, whatever, that's just how it is. Forecasting snow down here is incredibly difficult because of the moisture. Usually when we get really cold, it dries up a lot of our moisture, and what moisture we do get tends to come from the Gulf, which is already warm, or from the west. So we'll go in and talk about, yeah, as it stands. This is one I just pulled from the 12 Zulu run. We've got roughly, and this has changed a little bit since yesterday, I would say probably a 30 to 50% chance of seeing 1 inch of snow. So I hate to say 50-50, but that's about where we're at. This is actually a model run from what's called GFS. It's one of the ones that you'll hear us talk about. Been using this one, and it starts basically this evening and goes through Thursday. You can see the timestamps up there at the top. And what we'll see first is going to be that line of severe, potentially severe weather coming through right here. So about noon, there's 9 a.m., there's noon. So see the biggest majority of it, they're arriving in the MuleTown area about noon. Then it's going to clear out. We may see some of those light blues, which is some snow showers or flurries on the back end of that as the temps begin to drop. But here is what we are looking at. So this is Sunday, midnight, 3 a.m., 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 12. So the snow starts coming in probably late Sunday night into early Monday morning. We're seeing midnight right there, 3 a.m., 6 a.m., so 9 a.m., noon. So it could definitely cause some travel difficulties because it's going to be right there during the early morning going to work or lunch hour or stuff like that. So again, not being any alarmist or anything, but just letting you all know what the score is. I will go in, because I've debated on doing this or not. I'll go in and we'll discuss some of the models. So if nothing else, I can just kind of illustrate to you the difficulties that we have in forecasting snow. The models are starting to tend to agree more, but it can vary run to run, model to model. So they are, it looks like, all done running the 12 Zulu run. So let's go in. Let me get that pulled up. We'll go back to GFS first, just because that's what I've already showed you. All right. Get the screen share pulled up. Perfect. Okay. Make that full screen. All right. So GFS model, 12 Zulu run. Make sure you got 12 Zulu run. So as you can see here, it's actually showing that we might have gotten a little bit of snow last night into today, and we didn't. So again, this is all with a grain of salt. Moving through Friday, see some light snow starting to pop up there on the plateau. That's probably going to be from that storm system that we talked about earlier, exiting and getting into the higher altitudes, or elevation, excuse me. And let's see, coming into Sunday. So you can see there from the west around the Paducah area, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, it starts to show in the frame coming there at midnight, 6 a.m. Monday, 12 p.m. Monday. It's showing about 2.5 inches, but as you see, we're pretty close to the 3 and 4 inch area. That looks like it's going to be right on the line there where we're at. So that's going to make things depend. So could end up being less than that, could end up being more than that again. So we're not really too much talking totals. But as you see, we're now into Thursday at midnight, and this may be the case that if it's really cold, some of the snow could stick around for a while, especially in the rural areas. This product, do not pay attention to it, but this will be the one that most of the other pages are trying to show you, and this is just the total amount of precipitation that the model thinks is going to fall, and that's not going to be accurate enough. That it's a completely different model product for a completely different solution there. So again, same model, but just showing two different products there of what it thinks the total, and that's everything that's falling. So obviously everything that's falling will make it to the ground. Some things may melt off as well. So now looking at the ice here from GFS, and again, it shows it's going into next Saturday, but ice probably will stay to the south. That's what most of the models are showing right now. So again, a little pink blob down there a little bit, but that's more than likely going to be the story, as I think the ice will stay to the south because most of the models are showing that. So move over to GDPS, the Canadian model. This one's usually fairly good at snow. It can be a little bit conservative at times, which is why I kind of use this as my between the lower amount. So slide on into Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And again, Canadian model is showing that we could potentially see just a trace of snow after the back end on that Saturday, back end of the front Friday night into Saturday morning. So Sunday here. All right, and then there you can see about 2 inches. It's kind of hard to see because this one won't let me zoom into the local area, but it's showing about 2 inches, but we're still right there on the edge of 3. So it's going to basically depend on where that where the front sags down at and where the snow decides to cross. Yeah, so really no ice here as well. Looks like it's going to stay to the south for the most part right now. And again, like I said, all of this is prefaced on right now. As many of the regulars have heard me say before, all I can do is go off what the supercomputer tells me. So I wish I knew for sure. I wish I had the magic wand and the answers, but I don't. All right, GEFS model. So this is the one I showed you a moment ago that has the percentages on it. So right now we're on measured snow depth. Go ahead and move that up. Okay, so there's Monday. See it coming through. And this one's a little bit more conservative. So only showing about an inch, maybe a little bit more than that. So we'll take you to those probabilities. So this is the one I shared a moment ago. You can see things moving in. It's saying we've got about a 10% or less chance to see some flurries or snow accumulation on the back end of the storms on Friday. So I think that's probably about right, or even less. I don't think we're going to get any sort of measurable snowfall, just other than some flurries flying around. So Monday coming into frame here. All right, and you see it kind of drops right there. So we've got pink over here, 60% or so, 50, 60%. And that's where we were yesterday. And now it's dropped a little bit more to about the 30 and 40% range. So again, this is just what we're dealing with here. Things can change and frequently do. So we just kind of have to roll with the punches. Same product. This is just showing our chances for 4+ inches of snow. And it's pretty low, 3% from what that's saying. So we'll have a look at this total snowfall. No, we need snow depth, excuse me. There we go. So let's see, about an inch. So all the models are starting to trend more towards agreement, but like we mentioned in that last post, it's basically going to come down to the timing of it. And it's, like I said, they're tending to agree on something's going to happen, but exactly what and how much is kind of still up in the air. And that's why we're just not ready to make any hard decisions or anything like that. So this is the last one I'll show you here. So this is kind of a blend of all of the models. It kind of measures how things change between the runs and everything. And again, so showing about 2 inches there or so. And then the ice should stay to the south. We may see a trace, just a trace of ice, because right there, that's showing us we're pretty much kind of alone in that little bubble there with the 100th of an inch of ice, so 0.01. But other than that, as promised, we are keeping a very close eye on things because they do change from run to run. And what I'm doing basically when I'm not here on camera is doing that, exactly what I just showed you, looking at the runs, looking at what the previous run said, comparing that to the next one, and just kind of going from there. We try to bracket what we think will be the accumulation amounts. I've got one of those two. Here we go. Swap this back over. All right, and this I think is, yeah, so about 0 to 3 inches is the best guess for right now. I can't say that part enough. for right now. This is what we're looking at. So let me have a look at the comments here and see, answer some questions. Kimberly says, what's it going to be like in Culleoka? Same as it's going to be in Columbia, pretty much. We're all close enough together to where if I say Murray County or Columbia or 65, the I-65 area, that's all going to be pretty much the same. So it may vary a little bit. I mean, I've seen different sides of town in Columbia have an inch or two in difference, and Spring Hill will be completely dry. So snow is a tricky beast. It's very, very tricky. So, hey, Johnny, how are you? Hope you are doing well in this new year, and thank you for that big money, big money. Always appreciate that, folks. Helps us keep the lights on because we are an all volunteer organization. We don't do advertising or anything like that. Just because if I'm doing this and we've got tornadoes on the ground or something crazy, I don't want you to have to watch an ad. So, Tracy says, what about Mount Pleasant? Yeah, same thing. Tracy, Mount Pleasant, Columbia, Culleoka, all going to be pretty much about the same. As far as like specific totals, again, I can't say for 100% sure. What we're waiting on are the long range models to come out, or excuse me, the mid to short range models to come out. So most of those start about 84 hours or so. And then we really should get a good picture about Saturday or Sunday. We should know for sure, well, not for sure, but we should know with a good bit of greater certainty that we can say X will happen or Y will happen or whatever. But right now it is just too far off. Let's see. Hello, Patrina. Hope you are doing well. Lisa, I hope I said that right. Spring Hill Thompson Station, gonna be about the same. If we look back there on the models again, it does tend to show maybe some higher accumulations up towards Nashville or so, kind of getting into the Williamson County area. Pull that back up real quick. So the further north you go and the further west you go, I would guess, the more snow you may run into, and also the more travel impacts that you may run into. So definitely keep that in mind. If you got to be at work at 8, I would probably go ahead and get up early, check the weather, and maybe you leave at 6:30. Just go ahead and make sure you have plenty of time. Again, as we kind of hilariously but true pointed out, people don't know how to drive around here when it's sunny and 70. So when it snows, it can be a nightmare for driving for sure. So most of the models are showing again that the ice is going to stay to the south, because that is obviously one very bad thing that we don't want. A couple inches of snow will probably shut the city down until they can get the roadways all cleared and salted or scraped or whatever. But the ice that can cause power outages, trees to fall on houses, all kinds of bad stuff. So again, not expecting any ice. That could change because we're still 5 days out from all this, 5 or 6 days. So just make sure that you've got all like your house winterized. There was a great comment in the comment section earlier about how exactly to do that. Obviously, you can leave your faucets dripping just a little bit. You can open your cabinet doors under your sink. If you have any outside like hose spigots or anything like that, I would go ahead and just grab one of the cheap little insulator thingies. Yeah. So yeah, accumulation totals, I have no idea. Nobody does. And that's the thing that I just want to get across. We can only go with, what the models tell us, and we try to bracket things between, this and this. And I think it said 0 to 3, but I think that probably a 1/2 inch to 3 inches will probably be about right for the brackets and everything. So, again, it's just too hard to tell. With the snow, it works completely different. And if our like our high pressure sags further to the south, we could get a little bit more snow. If it ended up going more to the north, we could get less snow. If our temps just aren't exactly right, we just get rain or freezing rain. So um, that is the predicament that we're in right now. Is it requires everything to be exactly right and perfectly kind of in line for it to happen. So um, I think that is all. Yeah, I think that is all. So, again, if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the comment section, and I will get to them in just a sec. But other than that, I think that covers most of everything that I wanted to get to. And as always, we are broadcasting this live simulcast on YouTube. They have way better video quality. So in the severe events where we're kind of on all night for a couple of hours, if you have like a smart TV or a Roku or Apple TV or whatever, you can definitely go ahead and throw us up on your TV and have better image quality. So let's see. So let's see. McKinnon says, I have a question. Why does Weather Channel 2 put a radar showing the snow coming in if it's a possibility it won't? Couldn't answer that. I have no idea. The news channels obviously have to pay all their bills on viewership and ratings and stuff like that. So same as the folks that are sharing the graphics that are showing like 10 inches of snow coming in from a couple of days ago. It's just irresponsible. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not saying Channel 2 is, but when you're doing something like that just strictly to garner, likes and traffic and Facebook interactions or whatever, it's completely irresponsible, especially with how we usually deal with snow around here. So, other than that, I'll be watching the models for the rest of the day. And I intend to go live again later on this evening, maybe around 6 or 7 p.m. or so. And I'll just real quick, I'll go through everything again if you're just now joining us. Currently it is 45 degrees. Wind has picked up a little bit. It's about 10 miles an hour out of the south-southwest. We do have more wind in the forecast for later on this week around Friday or so, with those storms coming in. So high of about 45, low of 32. Pressure 29.65, and no measurable rain for today so far. And then again, high about 46, and it's pretty much the same story around most of the mid-state area. And then tonight, yeah, right at freezing, so 33, 32, somewhere thereabouts. So if you've got the outdoor doggos or cats or whatever, make sure that they're nice and toasty warm tonight, but especially next week. Go ahead and make whatever kind of plans that you need to do. Because it's going to be dangerously cold, not just really cold or bitterly cold, but dangerously cold. So you definitely don't want to be out in that with no sort of insulation or warm jacket, at least. So tomorrow looks to be pretty nice, sunny all around the mid-state area, high of around 56 here in MuleTown. And here is that wind field that we were talking about just a moment ago. So Friday is going to be very windy. Gusts of 35, 45 are likely. Friday morning, continuing all day through the evening. And again, right there, as it says, make sure you're securing any loose objects or anything that can blow away. Trampolines, whatever else. And then next week, this is what we're really paying attention to. So regardless of what the snow does or does not, we have a 100% chance of a high temperature being less than 32 degrees Monday. And if you look at the graphic there, it's not going to get much better. So red line up there represents freezing, and you can see pretty much the whole first half of the week up until about Wednesday or so, it won't be above freezing. So any precip that we do get will likely freeze, and that causes problems for the TDOT trucks. I can't remember exactly what temperature it is. I want to say it's like 15 or 16 degrees or something like that, that the brine is ineffective, or not as effective rather. So that will potentially be an issue if we do get a decent snowfall amount. So we'll look at this is a projected radar from GFS, I think it was. Yeah, GFS. And you can see the timestamps there. Pretty quiet until we get into Friday or so. Friday morning, you can see it start to approach there from the west. And then around 10 a.m. to noon, we should see that heaviest part. See a little bit of the blue there coming through, and maybe some small isolated snow showers. And other than that, we'll see. So Sunday night or Sunday morning, we start to see that creep in. The blue is obviously the snow. The darker blue is a little bit heavier snow. And that should be a thing pretty much through the first half of the day on Monday, and then maybe clearing out about 6 p.m. or so. Another thing I pulled from the models. So this is roughly our chances of getting an inch of snow or better from GFS. Sorry about that, folks. But as you see, we're pretty close there as well on the line between the 30s and the 50s. So it will just depend on what path this takes, basically, as to how much we get. It definitely looks to be cold enough. So I know normally we usually start off with the rain showers, and then it transitions into snow or vice versa. And that's how we get that nice little layer of ice on top or under it. Which is probably the worst, is having, an inch or two of snow and then ice under it. Let's see. Yeah, so the models are coming into agreement. We just went over a couple, but so far, they all are saying or suggesting that we could see a decent winter event, as far as, quote unquote winter storm, ice storm. I doubt it. NWS may issue what's called a winter weather advisory, which is basically one step down from a winter storm. So it's a possibility that they could put us under the winter storm watch. But again, I'd say the odds are against it. And remember, for anybody that's new, watch means that conditions are favorable and you should watch out for snow, thunderstorm, tornado, or whatever it is. And then warning means it's actually happening right now. So winter storm watch means kind of get prepared, get ready for it. Winter storm warning means that it is occurring and you need to put those plans into action. So I think that's about it. So yeah, if anybody's got any questions, go ahead and throw those in the comments. Still waiting on some of the other models to load in. I actually think I didn't do the Canadian. Yeah, we'll go ahead and swap back over to that one, because I didn't show you the Canadian model first. No, I did, because I remember it was talking about the one that's usually a little bit better at snow. Which one did we not do? Canadian Ensemble. Let's see. And this one is a little bit older, though. But it's about the same, I think. Showing about 2 inches or so. That's not what we want. Hold on. That's what we want. There we go. So you can see about 1.6, 2 inches or so there. And that seems to be basically where most of them are hovering, is somewhere between there. Some of them are saying closer to 3 or 4, but that's definitely the minority. Look at our probabilities again here. So chances for snowfall greater than 1 inch. And it coming in there around, what's that, midnight Monday. So 6 a.m. still right there, kind of in the probably, but not sure yet. It's about 50-50 for most of the Middle Tennessee area there. And then as it's moving out Tuesday, still could be seeing some snow. This is our probability for 4 inches, and you see most of that is staying up to our north. However, that has gone up a little bit. So yesterday, I think it was 8 or 10%, and right now it's sitting at 14%. So, yeah. If I had to guess, I would say it's probably not going to be that much, but like I said, nobody knows for sure. This is total snowfall depth, and it's about the same, so maybe 2.5, 3 inches. But that's also going through Thursday and Friday, so there that may be counting in some lingering precip on the back of the front that's coming through. So yeah, about the same. And as you see, I'm kind of going through the days of the week here. It's going to be so cold that most of the snow that we get, ice or whatever ends up happening, probably going to be around for a while. So, and then again, right there showing about 0 to 5 inches. That sounds funny, but that's about the best that we can do as far as that goes. So, is what it is. Wish I had a magic crystal ball that would tell me what all is going to happen and when, but it don't. So, all right. Tammy said she missed the beginning. Calling for Columbia. Um, just basically about what I was saying. Some of the models are saying, 1 inch. Some of them are saying closer to 2.5, maybe 3. But those brackets that we were discussing there is probably going to be somewhere between nothing to about 4 inches. And that's just my best educated guess there. Not a meteorologist, never pretended to be. I've just been doing this for about 25 years or so. So, I love snow, and I always kind of have to temper my excitement and be objective about it when I'm talking to y'all, because I want it to snow. If it snowed 10 feet, I would be happy as a lark and would probably get up on the roof of my house and just swan dive off into it. So, other than that, like I said, throw those questions there in the chat, the comment section. Oh, I can't talk. And I will make sure that we get to them. Other than that, I'll probably get this wrapped up here in just a minute, if there are no additional questions. Katrina says we need 4 to 6 inches, please. I agree. Again, there's not much I can do about that, but I will see what we can do. We will definitely be keeping a good eye on it as it approaches. And as always, we'll need your help as well. If you're seeing snow or ice or whatever where you live, let us know. Throw it on the page, private message us, whatever, and then we'll make sure that that gets to the NWS. The main thing for that is obviously the severe weather, tornadoes, wind damage, hail, stuff, things of that nature. But for the snow, it definitely helps to know, if Santa Fe's getting 3 inches and Clayoak is only getting 1.5 inches, kind of tells us where the divide line is, and kind of gives us a better estimate of kind of where the storm system, the winter storm system or whatever, was tracking. So I'll give another update tonight. There should be more model guidance there available for me. Some of them run hourly and some of them don't. It looks like, yeah, I think we've talked about all of the ones that are the longer range. Let's look at the temps. That's one thing we haven't looked at. All right, so temperatures. This is starting at. Get on the right run. There we go. All right, so about 34 degrees. That's where it started at 6 a.m. this morning. We'll go ahead and take that through Wednesday, Thursday. About 53 degrees looks like on Thursday, and then it should be, yep, about the same, 50 degrees or so on Friday. But as soon as this front moves in, you can see it right there, that blue, the dark blue creeping in. It's going to pretty much just slam the temperatures into the ground. It looks like, where's Sunday? All right, so yeah, Sunday midnight. Looks like it's going to get about 35 for the high. That's what the model is projecting here on Sunday noon or so. And then it just gets cold. You can see some of the single digits up here. And yeah, 15, 9. So single digits are a possibility here as well. Monday evening. 5, -2 is a potential on Tuesday night at midnight going into Wednesday morning. 5, -7. So definitely going to be dangerously cold, for sure. It's Wednesday here, 9 a.m. So we might get to freezing, looks like, on Wednesday, but then it's going to start dropping way back down Wednesday night. Thursday, might get again to freezing on Thursday. It's going to be close, 35, and then again starts going right back down. So it is going to be very cold no matter what. Looks like next Friday, will be about a high 40. And again, this is real far out. Anything more than, 48 hours, 72 hours, I tend not to just completely trust. The models are good, but it can change run to run. So, don't want to be in a position to tell y'all, hey, you need to freak out and go get your milk and eggs and bread and everything like that, because that's not what we're about. I'm trying to think of a good way to put that, but there's not. But basically, we're not going to show you stuff to get you freaked out, to get more likes or interactions on the page. Not going to do it. It's just it's too far off to say for 100% sure. And I mean that's that. So the temperatures do look like they will be very, very cold. That one is pretty much a certainty right now. As far as snow, we've got a good chance, definitely. And the ice, for right now, seems to be holding to the south. There may be some more later on. Again, that's getting towards the point of the models where it's not exactly trustworthy. For about 7 days, so like next Friday, I think, or Saturday, it showed a possibility of potentially a little bit more accumulating snow. But again, that's just, it varies model by model. So what I was doing earlier is kind of what I do. When I'm not talking with y'all, I go and look at this model and that model and look at what this run is and look at what that run was, 6 hours ago, 12 hours ago, whatever, and just try to compare the two. So you see exactly how I do it, because I just showed you. But that's pretty much all I've got, unless you all have any other questions. Luna Bell, thank you for that big money, and Katrina as well. Thank you, Nana. So, another question: do I think we should go get the stuff like milk and bread? I mean, Can if you want to. If you're just not the type of person that does not want to get out in the snow, I don't blame you. But I would be aware most everybody else is probably doing the same thing. So I mean that's kind of a catch 22. I doubt they will completely run out for like a week, but they may get wiped out temporarily if everybody goes and gets what they've got on hand. That could pose some supply issues. So it wouldn't hurt. But again, I don't think that it's going to be, a foot of snow or anything like that. The city of Columbia is usually pretty good about getting the roadways cleared and salted or scraped or whatever. Some of the back roads in the county take a little bit longer. And obviously in a rural area, it can be a little bit more cold. You got a driveway that goes straight up. So just think about stuff like that. If you've got the driveway straight up, you may want to park at the bottom of it or something like that. So you don't have to worry about sliding off your driveway or, out into the roadway or something like that and have another vehicle hit you or run over your mailbox or whatever. It's always good to have like a cold weather kit in your car, blanket, maybe some hot hands, I usually throw like a little first aid kit in mine too, some granola bars, power bar, whatever. That way, in case you do get stranded, make sure your phone and everything is charged like that. That way, in case you need it to get assistance. Yeah, and if you want to go get a sled, that I would do now because I've seen how quickly those disappear whenever there is snow in the forecast. So, milk, eggs, and bread, that's just a personal choice, up to you. I can't tell you what to do. I can just kind of tell you what may go on and stuff like that. So, but the sled, if you're in the market for one of those, I would probably go ahead and do it. So, all right. No more questions. So we'll go ahead and conclude our broadcast here. I will be going live again, probably around 1900, 6 or 7 p.m. for you civvies. And we'll discuss some more things because we should have a couple of new model runs in between there as well. And that will obviously help us out. Yeah, there should be some more. And again, if you're just joining us, what I was saying about the models is most of the ones I've been looking at to see this are long range, 300 and something hours, 200 and something hours that they go in and measure. It can be helpful just to kind of get an idea of what may happen, comparing the model runs to each other, seeing what's different, what's the same, and things like that. But really what we're waiting for is probably going to be around Saturday night, Sunday, when the mid to short range models come into effect that are, only about 84 or 48 hours out. And that will really help us get a good idea of the wins, wheres, and the how much. So, again, thank you for joining us on the broadcast here. We appreciate each and every one of you. But especially right now, make sure you share our stuff, like it, comment it. It helps tickle the algorithm and actually lets Facebook not suppress our stuff for the people that are paying for ads to get their stuff boosted or whatever. Tell a buddy, bring a friend, go like the stream on YouTube. You can get to it at WDiMT there under my name. So that's about all I've got. So keep an eye out for the further updates. We will get them to you as soon as we can, as soon as NWS releases forecast or graphic products or whatever. We get those to you, and I'll be sitting here pretty much for the next 3 days, I think, looking at model runs and comparing, and obviously happy to answer all of the questions. So other than that, y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later.